There are often tales of deer on the island of St. Kitts. Not just tales, because I've actually seen them.
Me too.
For many of you, however, you might not have actually glimpsed them, but the presence of the white-tailed deer remains a myth. Today, we have the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Eric Browne, Forestry Officer in the Department of Environment, to share more on the status of the protected animals here on the island. I would say welcome to you.
Well, good day. Thank you for having me on the program today.
Indeed. So, again, many individuals have occasionally seen pictures of deer on the roadside having been hit by vehicles. And as a forestry officer, do you see them often inside the rainforest? Or, are they in the rainforest, or are they just in that particular area, Canada to Beaver's area?
The deers are not found in the rainforest. As you say, they ranges from the Canada Hills to the Southeast Peninsula. That area is not considered rainforest. That is dry woodland, actually. And it's a relatively dry area. But they're there because of the history behind them. A bit of history that, as you have said before, reports show that they were introduced in 1931 and by Mr. Philip Todd. They were actually introduced at the Lodge Estate. But they were brought in for gaming, actually for hunting purposes. But to release them in that countryside, that open countryside, would have been quite destructive, especially to the main crop at the time, which was sugarcane. Because their diet is very wide. So what they did, soon after they were introduced, they were released in the Frigate Bay area. Now, Frigate Bay at that time is nothing like what it is today. That area was mainly used for two purposes. Grazing, cattle grazing, and also for salt mining. And so it was just open country and ideal to have a wild game released in that area. Their historic range is from the Canada Hills. You could also picture that back then, that whole area from Canada, we're talking about Canada, Keys area, going back towards the Southeast Peninsula, was mostly uninhabited, really. So it was okay for them to go back and forth. Today, they still do it. They still use corridors to go back and forth. Now, one will say, how is it you don't see them going back and forth? Is that our deer population seems to have evolved and growing differently from the population that they came out of in the U.S. Whereas in the U.S., they would normally roam during the day. Whereas our population seems to have adapted to roam at night. And that would facilitate them going back and forth, right, without coming to much contact with humans, right? While you're sleeping, they're out roaming.
They're moving.
Right? So you find our deer population, one will wonder, why is it that they are the only protected mammal? They are not the only protected animals, but the only protected mammal. It's quite interesting how that came about. You see, what happened is that when they wanted to develop the Frigate Bay Peninsula area, an assessment was done. The first assessment was done in 1985 in the Frigate Bay area because the thought was now not only St. Kitts but other Caribbean countries were looking at tourism as an avenue, right? So to develop. So they looked at the Frigate Bay area and thought, okay, let us do an assessment there. And they did an assessment, and in that assessment, they found that is when the deer actually was recognized once more.
All right, well, speaking of, protecting the animals, what can you tell us about the sections of the Act?
Well, permit me to actually read that section of the Act, because most persons do not know that this Act exists and what it entails. That section is called Part 8, Protection of Wild Animals and Birds. In this part, wild animal or wild bird means any animal or bird specified in the Schedule 3. Schedule 3 has a list of birds and the only mammal there is the white-tailed deer.
In terms of reporting mechanisms that are in place for offenses of this nature, do people usually call the forestry office or do they call the police? What's the nature of it?
Traditionally, if, like, say, animal gets knocked down, traditionally, we don't hear about it. But since we started with the awareness campaign to let the public know that they are there, they are protected, with the advent of cell phones and, Facebook, persons are now becoming aware. So when they get struck there, I get calls.
Okay.
Even at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would get calls. There's a deer on the side of the road. I go for it. I look at it. If it's still alive, if it's dead, then I take care of it. But we're getting more and more persons who are reporting them, right? They call us. Sometimes they would call us, university. And so we want folks to know, whenever you encounter these animals, there's an issue, you can call us at the Department of Environment. You can call the forestry officer.
We are going to be presented with an animal fun fact, and we're going to see which one of us can guess which animal fun fact it's related to. So let's begin, gentlemen. I'm gonna win anyways.
Well, that's what you say. It's really, hey.
I am going to win.
This from the person who says her spirit animal is a kangaroo.
Yes, it's a kangaroo. It is a kangaroo.
Just make sure you mention animals that are endangered, right?
Well,
We'll
maybe you
see
never
about
know.
that,
We just might have a kangaroo in the hills,
It
Dr. Browne.
doesn't look like that, so I don't think you have to worry about anybody stripping your PhD because they might not be taking. Here we go, the first one. Which animal has the largest population? I'm going to say ants. Yes. Having been bitten one time too many, I figure it was ants. All right, so I got that one, Cortenzia. We're off to a good
Look
start.
at you. A great start, I must say. A great start. Which animal has the most teeth? Shark, flounder, whale, or catfish? I'm tempted to go with the whale. No!
That is a catfish. And it has the most teeth, and you can see them. They're really tiny at the bottom.
Yeah, really. I never knew that. Okay, I learned something today. That's good. Every day we learn
Remember, a
something
catfish is not a cat, eh?
Good point.
I like that one.
I'll go with an elephant, the size of that fella there.
Really?
Yes.
I thought they put up the
Elephants jump.
They,
Yeah, but they're not gonna jump.
But jump means you have to come off the ground, you know.
Okay. All right. I can take that one.
Could you imagine? The earth is going to shake if they do. Again, this animal has rectangular pupils. I never knew that animals have rectangular pupils. I'll go with the butterfly. Let's see. Wow.
Ooh.
Rectangular pupils?
What?
I did not know that.
This animal has an immortal species. Jellyfish, eel, clam, worm. Ooh la la. Worm?
That's your option. Jellyfish. Wow.
I should have said that, I wanted to, but then
Immortal
they die.
species.
I see them on the beach, so I didn't think so. How is it immortal then?
That's the next trivia question, I suppose. We don't have the answer.
I hope that is not my question.
This one. Which animal is the deadliest?
The deadliest.
I think they're each deadly in their own right.
They are all deadly in their own right.
But which one is the deadliest?
Which one is the deadliest? I'll go with the hippo.
Okay, selection is in. The doctor has selected the hippo, and it's a mosquito. Yeah,
Because of the disease that it spreads, I guess.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And its mobility and everything.
Wow, where do you find these? This
9
is trivia.
brains?
I thought trivia is things to be things that people normally know, right? This animal can have 9 brains. Okay, we've got the octopus, the leech, the squid, and the moth. 9 brains.
9 brains, wow.
8 appendages. I'm just doing the math here. I'm doing the math. What do I got?
You are thinking too hard.
This is like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go with the moth, just because.
You should have stuck to your 8. Which animal has transparent fur? The zebra, the polar bear, the Arctic fox, or the rabbit? Transparent. I'm gonna go with the zebra.
I'm thinking Arctic. Yeah. just because of
he
where it
mixes
is.
with the snow.
Yes, exactly. This animal has the strongest bite force: the shark, the gorilla, the crocodile, and the tiger. And here we are again with human sharks and crocodiles.
Crocodile.
Oh, what?
There's a reason I don't go into the water often.
Blame it on the sharks. Blame it on the sharks, Jamie.
There's a reason
What?
I didn't go.
Yeah, but there's no, unless it's a tiger shark,
Okay.
you're pretty fine.
Which female animal is called you? I ought to know this one. I think it is the sheep.
Oh, look at you getting the sheep right.
Look at you getting the sheep right. Okay. Here we go. All right, so I got that one.
Which animal can sleep for up to 3 years? Snail, sorry. The options are snail, armadillo, squirrel, and koala. I'm gonna go with the armadillo.
Really?
And they're always moving? Oh.
Yeah, there are a few of them here, so we're getting local.
Because they're so slow, they can conserve their energy.
Oh, so
that
they're
makes sense.
sleeping and still moving?
No, because you see how slow they are, they don't use up as much energy.
Right.
Oh, okay. Learned
Right.
something else today, boy. I'm really losing. Ooh.
All right, Dr. Browne, this is you. Which animal shell is attached to its skin? Sea urchin, turtle, shrimp, or crab?
That will be the sea urchin.
All right. The doctor has
The
selected.
turtle.
It is the turtle.
What? Yeah,
The
look.
skin is attached to
The
its
skin
shell.
shell.
So this doesn't come, like the land turtle? So the land turtle shell is not attached to the skin, is it? Wow.
That's what I was thinking too, so I
Yeah,
picked what
I
you
should have
did.
said turtle because the leatherback especially.
Oh, they're attached.
Yeah, the leatherback is, you can define the difference actually.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yes.
So those are the same turtles that nest here on St. Kitts, right?
The leatherback as well as the hawkbill.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the hawksbill from Antigua. Yeah, that one.
All right, so we're going to get an official count.
What, they were counting?
They were counting,
They were
yeah.
counting,
this
yeah.
was a competition.
So
So,
I should have known they were counting.
yeah. So our official count, if I am starting from...
Zero is not hard to count for me.
I was gonna say...
Zero is not hard to
You
count.
didn't get zero, Dr. Brown. You got some points. You are on the board. You
I was
got
gonna
some
say, I was
points.
What's
gonna
taking them so long to put up zero?
So here we go. Dr. Browne, you have 2 points. Hortensia, you have no points. And I have 2 points as well, so it's a 2-way tie.
Look at that. And I said I was going to win.
You see, we're men, we wear tight.
I like that comeback.
That's good.
I like that comeback.
Every day but today,
I
right?
like that comeback. I like that one. So
Dr.
congrats, gents. I will say congrats.
Dr. Browne, thank you so much. And yes, you're not a sore loser. That's good to know.
Yep.
Round 2 coming up sometime in the future, perhaps when you come back.
Oh yes, I would love that. I would love that.
It's been our pleasure having you on Good
I gotta
Morning
pull out my
SKN.
encyclopedia for next time.
Oh, of course. Please do. Please do.